What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Boom, and I am back for another video. Chris Jericho, a big debate back in the day when Chris Jericho left WWE. He was one of the biggest stars. He was coming off the list stuff, and he was one of the biggest stars. And one of the big conversations with Chris Jericho was, is he the GOAT of wrestling? Is he the GOAT? I remember Plana Productions, he made a video talking about Chris Jericho being the GOAT, and that's how a lot of people felt at the time, because he was just putting off banger segments and promos and wrestling. He was just killing it at that time. We really was into Chris Jericho, so I'm just here to say Chris Jericho is not the GOAT. He probably would say himself he isn't the GOAT. He's not the GOAT, and at that time, I was like, man, he's the greatest. But over time now, I'm like, man, he ain't the GOAT, man. He lost it. He was top tier. Now he ain't top tier no more, man. Me and my brother, we talk about it all the time. He lost his way. And first of all, let's talk about his WWE career. He killed it in WWE. You know, the Attitude Era stuff, the 2000s stuff. I noticed too, but I noticed some of that stuff about Chris Jericho. His act got stale over time. Each thing he did, kind of the Y2J stuff got stale over time. I can speak from my time watching Chris Jericho growing up. You got the 2010 stuff, iconic. The Suit Jericho, Serious Jericho, all of that stuff. Iconic stuff. It was great. But that 2012 to like 2015 Jericho was bad. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. It was bad. It was he was just being Chris Jericho, the Y2J and that stuff he was doing with Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, and it got bad. Once he turned bad, he was good. Once he turned bad in 2016, it was good. It was really good. But it took a long time. 2015, Good Guy Jericho was not it. 2014, Good Guy Jericho was not it. 2013, Good Guy Jericho was not it. He just is a generic. He's not really that great. He's just kind of bland during those times. 2012, when he had the feud with CM Punk, that was great. Now, that was really good. He was really on point with that feud. But whenever he was a good guy, kind of just was boring. So, but I'm acting like it was the worst thing, but no, it was not the worst thing. He was probably one of the best good guys. It's hard to be a good guy, but still, even for Jericho, it was kind of whack. It was kind of whack. But you got the 2007 run. I wasn't really watching wrestling. I was too young. At that time to experience when he came back in 2007. But even over time, what people say, it got kind of old over time. 2005 Jericho, that bad guy stuff kind of got old over time. He had to change it up. So let's talk about his 2016 run. His 2016 run is one of the best runs in wrestling. 2016, 2017 Jericho is golden, man. It was a great run. The list, the scarf, all of it. It was just incredible. Fun run. The stuff he was doing with Kevin Owens was funny, and their chemistry was funny. A little overrated, because Raw at that time, people like to sugarcoat moments. I'm not doing it. I couldn't watch Raw at the time. SmackDown Live was a banger. Sure, that show was so good. SmackDown Live was amazing. But Raw at the time was so bad. I feel like Raw was just ending the exact same way. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens running away from Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and it just was the same thing over and over again. I was getting tired of it. Kevin Owens was like what they said, coward champion, and Chris Jericho, yeah, he was good though. The scarf stuff, Kevin Owens was good too, because his chemistry with Chris Jericho was really good. But some of that coward stuff just got bad over time. But Chris Jericho was funny, and you go into the Royal Rumble 2017, Survivor Series 2016. That's like the peak for me. I just remember like, wow, this is pretty good. This is the list thing. At first I didn't like the list, but then over time I was like, oh, this is funny. This is really good. And yes, man, I just love the Jericho run in 2016. He was killing it at the time. Then They broke up him and Kevin Owens. Sad, very iconic Raw moment. Very sad. And then they didn't give them the main event at WrestleMania. I thought that was really whack. They didn't give them the big match against with the Universal title. They didn't even got to be the main event. They didn't get the Universal title match. That was whack. Then he left WWE, and I think this is where he lost his GOAT title. I think the New Japan stuff, that was fine. Like him just doing a few matches there and having some top tier matches in New Japan. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't watch them because I'm being honest. I didn't watch those matches. But if it's like a one-off match he's doing, that's not going to mess up his GOAT status. It's a few matches. And they said they were good matches, so that's good. That's good. But then this is where I started getting mad. The AEW stuff. First of all, he lost. He kind of got out of shape. That was the first thing. It was like, oh man, Jericho, you look rough. Like, you look rough, but it's I understand he's getting older and stuff, but sometimes it's like, oh man, he looks pretty rough. And it just, like, if he was in WWE, most times when WWE, it seems like they keep you in the shape. They do not play about that stuff. If you out of shape, they're gonna put a shirt on you. And I just thought Jericho was like, dang man, you left WWE and now you like getting out of shape and stuff. It was kind of looking a certain type of way, but that ain't even the main thing. It ain't that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not in the best shape, so it is really not that big of a deal. But let's get into his thing, because it seemed like he was trying to get away from the list and the Jericho thing, because that's kind of, he didn't want to be doing the list and the scarf thing in WWE anymore. And I agree that is what they would have had him doing all the time. But he shouldn't feel like the list and the scarf have to go away like immediately. You don't gotta force it to go away. You do it in a smooth way. I feel like you could have just went with it a little bit longer, and then if you feel like, okay, they kind of pushing it too far, then you leave WWE or whatever. You kind of stick with it just for a little bit longer. The list really wasn't that long. The scarf and the list and stuff, it wasn't that long of a run. Then in New Japan and AEW, just started, basically his new character was, he just wants to make himself, because people was calling him the GOAT at the time, he was really trying to force that he could change his character a lot. That kept happening because people say he's the GOAT at character change, and he just really good at changing his character. He is, but it's like you ain't got to change your character over and over again. Because at one point he was wearing spikes, and then he was like joining that group, and then he was doing something else. It was like, why are you forcing it? You ain't got to force these new characters, and then we immediately got to like it and stuff. You ain't got to force it. But yeah, it didn't work. I don't think the characters worked, and it didn't work, man. At one feud, I was like, wow, that didn't work. It wasn't all over AEW and stuff. I was like, I had to look it up that it happened. Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho. Orange Cassidy, that junk is so funny. That character is hilarious. And Chris Jericho's he's one of the GOATs. He is a GOAT, but he ain't the GOAT. But those two getting together in like a feud, promo segments and stuff, that should have been the most entertaining stuff, and nobody talks about it, man. They said they had a real bad match. I didn't see the match, but they said they had a really bad match, and that's real disappointing because I like both of those guys. So now Chris Jericho, now people saying he it's probably time to hang it up now. They saying the stuff with Kenny Omega didn't work out, and they tried to do some with Big Show. It didn't work out either. And yeah, man, they saying he's out of shape. He's out of not out of how he looks, his prime shape. He can't move the way he used to move, and he ain't the same Chris Jericho he used to be. So it's kind of sad, but yeah, he's not the GOAT. He proved that all these characters he's trying to do is not working, and his match quality has declined. So yes, Chris Jericho is not the GOAT, sadly, but he's really great. And you're not about to nobody, don't take this from this video that he's not a great wrestler. He's still top 20, top 25. He's still a great wrestler, man. What he should have probably did just something like what Christian's doing right now. I feel like his run should have been what Christian's doing right now. Even though I don't like Christian's character that much either, because he mentions like people that passed away. I don't really like that character a little bit. It wouldn't work on WWE. I'm just saying. It wouldn't work on WWE, but CM Punk proved that if you are good, you're going to get watched by everybody. I watched every CM Punk segment in AEW. He just was killing it there. But Chris Jericho, it disappointed me that the run wasn't the same as it was in WWE. And his WWE run ain't perfect either. The list was a peak moment, and his bad guy stuff was good. But a lot of that good guy stuff he was doing in WWE was bad too. So, yes, Chris Jericho's not to go, and I'll see you on the next video. Anime Boom, my peace.